But you're not just going to see a lot of males in it. You're not going to see a lot of like what I would say like more masculine men as well.
Mhm.
Because we kind of get weeded out into like other different career fields, the caring fields. We gender it and we feminize it, and so you can't do that, man, or that's soft, or you'll get the oh man, that's super gay that you're doing that. It's like for real, this is what we're doing. Like you
Mm.
wish you had someone to talk to when you were younger, but like okay. Uh,
Mhm.
or I'll get people when I talk about therapy, and they'll be like, why do you even care about these kids? Because I'm trying to be the person that I needed when I was younger. Like you didn't need no one,
Mhm.
dude. Your life was fine. I'm like, my life was fine. I was depressed
Mhm.
as hell. I was suicidal as
Mhm.
hell. I
Mhm.
was autistic as hell. Didn't fit in with anyone other than other autistic kids.
Mm.
Sure as hell didn't fit in with the white kids because I was too urban.
Mhm.
And then with some of the black and brown folks, didn't fit in with them because I was also a little too preppy. So you never really
Mm.
fully fit in.
Mm.
And you see a lot of our other black and brown clients too. They're either not black enough, not white enough, not brown enough. They don't speak Spanish, or they're not Mexican, not Puerto Rican enough, not Spanish enough. You see it. And like no one ever fits in. And so it's super isolating. And then they meet me and I'm like, what's up? And the
Mhm.
kid's like, what do you mean, what's up? I was like, you fit in with me because I'm weird. And they're like, well, I don't ever fit in with anyone. Well, I like you. And we're going to have to
Mm.
find you some other weird kids too. So it's like a
Mhm.
cool healing when you're authentic with clients because that allows them to be authentic. But if the therapist is like super centered again around professionalism, which is centered around whiteness, then it gets
Mhm.
weird, man. Super stuffy, super dry. And so this authenticity thing, you're starting to see more counselors doing it now, therapists doing it
Mhm.
now. Like with the old school stuff is like, nope. It's never centered around my issues and like stuff, but I talk about family, trials, tribulations, because folks of color use stories. We learn
Mhm.
through stories, right? It's passed down
Mhm.
to the generations through stories. And so I'm like, that's not in the books. Like there's not a lot, there's case studies. It's not a story.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so people will ask me like, is therapy fun? Or my first job interview, not my first job interview, my first job that accepted me. It's like, nah, this is a vice president of like student life. He's like, you said it's fun, but it's not always fun. So he's like, how do you deal with that? I'm like, dude, this shit's always fun to me. Like you get people to be
Mhm.
better versions and graduate and you're going to their games or you're showing, I spend the kids' baptisms. Like this stuff is fun.
Mhm.
And I said, as a person of color that grew up in a lot of poverty, a lot of different things, a lot of violence, the stuff I see in the office don't scare me. This crisis situations, students being psychotic, suicidal. I'm like, okay, I'll show you what's scary is someone trying to kill you with a gun or a knife or like legit violence or harassment. That's scary. A kid talking
Mhm.
about, they're like scared and depressed, not scary.
Mhm.
So you see a lot of us folks of color, some of us that have been through some stuff, white folks too, that have been through stuff, we tend to be super calm in crisis.
Mhm.
But that's the trauma
Mhm.
response, but like this is a good one. So like at least now my
Yeah.
trauma is like worth something.
Yes. That's interesting that you put it that way, because often it can feel like that, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you've been in these really dangerous situations at a very young age, and your tolerance is so much higher. I hear that all the time of like, I see a lot of clients every single week and a lot of, especially white-bodied therapists telling me like, "I don't know how you do that." And it's like, my tolerance has to be so high because of how I was. Yeah, yeah,
It has to be
my
high to
lived
put up with y'all
experience.
in the office.
Mhm. Well, that too,
You didn't say
yeah.
that. I said that.
You said that,
I said,
yes,
yeah, I don't
but
want to get you
also
in
it's
trouble now.
real. It's re it's real. It's the unconscious messaging that
Yeah.
happens and that we're constantly holding, embracing, and tolerating, and so I'm glad that you're doing the work to, um, just undo the harm and lessening the impact on kids who don't fit in, brown and black bodies, and creating safe space and community and connection in a different way, a more authentic way, because you're right. It doesn't have to be clinical and stuffy and right. We're using all the right language and I can't show up in session. And I'm glad to be seeing the shift in the therapeutic community where authenticity is a thing. You get to be a human
Yep.
in the room. It's fucking rad.
It's awesome. It's okay for me to swear on this podcast, right?
Yes, we swear a lot.
Oh,
I
just
think
making
I've
sure.
used the F-bomb multiple times, and Brennan's probably, like, hating himself because he's like, "Edit it out."
No, you can't edit it out, man. You know, don't do that. Don't police us.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You know, Brendan over here being racist now.
Yeah.
I'm, jo- I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm sorry. Yeah, man, it's cool to be authentic, man, because the work gets too hard if you have to mask. And everyone masks. We call it for like a lot of women, queer folk, brown folk, black folk, we call it code switching.
Oh, yeah.
But in actuality, it's like just masking. And like autistic folks that also happen to have those identities doing it even more. Even more.
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
algorithm, what I call of humans, because everyone has their own algorithm, cultures, religions, they all have an algorithm. And like people are like, that sounds super autistic. Well, I was like, I wonder why.
Mhm.
But we all got this algorithm. It's hard to figure out what works with what folks.
Mhm.
Well, you adjust it. You know, you adjust it. When I came to this university, I didn't work a lot with international kids. And now it's
Mhm.
like a high
Mhm.
caseload. So Purdue University has, I think, like 20,000 out of like 30, 50,000 kids who are international. So it's one of the highest in America. Um,
Holy shit.
yeah, it's pretty high, very diverse. Like some folks will be like,
Huh.
man, school's super white. It is because it's less than 1% black. And I think it's like, ooh, I don't want to misquote it. I think it's like 5 or 6% Latinx. So it's not very high
Mhm.
either. And then international is like really high. But the international stuff has a lot of different ethnicities in it. But
Mm.
like I didn't know any of those issues, and you learn and you grow, and now you get, really compassionate, talking about these visas, talking about deportation, you're talking about so much crazy stuff. You're talking about how these teachers and
Mhm.
professors own them as PhD or grad students. You
Mhm.
get into a lot of weird stuff now in higher ed. Uh,
Mhm.
so earlier you said like, what's it been like? It's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool to be the only brown male in our office, but it's also like super sad.
Mhm.
I've had a higher rate of black and brown bodies, doesn't matter their national what nationality they are. In the last couple of months, brings me a lot of happiness and joy. Oh, recently, I'm going to talk about this. This is fun.
Mhm.
So recently, you might have
Mhm.
seen it. There was a post going around social media about all these black individuals that are going to NASA. They're working at NASA, and it was like all the natural, beautiful bodies, the hair, and all that stuff. It's going around everywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
And boy, I thought about one of my clients because they're getting ready to
Mhm.
go get this job at NASA.
Mhm.
I'm like, man, it's going to be you. And I said, you see it? And they said, yeah, I saw it. And I said, yeah, we're working towards. But we're
Mm.
fighting racism, we're fighting depression, we're fighting anxiety, relationship. Like there's so many different things. So to be that
Mhm.
person that is the one getting people to like this next level, bruh, to be that person that should be dead or in prison that's getting people to the next level is like unfathomable.
Mhm. Mhm.
Man.
How do you hold those rough days? Like, I mean, myself as a therapist, there are some really good proud moments, and there's also days where I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing with my life? Who am I to do this work?" Um,
So, bruh.
you're like,
Um,
"Let me tell you real quick, let me
no,
make it."
no, I'm here. The narcissism will come out now. Let me tell you how good I am. Um, it's never a confidence issue. Actually, these days, that's been rooted out through supervision and through magnificent women that have
Mm,
gassed me up. I know I'm good. My
mm,
clients tell me good. My supervisors told me good. There's no wavering in confidence at all.
mm,
What gets hard is when my clients get hurt or abused or assaulted under my care.
mm,
Now that makes me hate everybody. That makes me hate the world. That makes me think that, Thanos and Marvel was right and we should just destroy half the world. That makes me think that we should restart.
mm,
And it's really hard for me to regulate when they get hurt because I get very protective. And it's,
mm,
all humans, we get close to folks. Those in the spectrum, though, like the bonds are intense. And
mm,
you work with someone for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and now you're getting them to graduate. But then a story comes up and they throw you off, and you're like, damn. And then you got to sit with it. And you can consult about it, right? But it doesn't matter because the pain's already done to them. And then you get them out of it. Yeah, it's tough. Those are the tough days when you hate the world
mm,
or when you work with a student client like multiple sessions, right? We're working on so much stuff, we're doing better. And they say, hey, Nas, what? I've been meaning to tell you something. I haven't wanted to talk about it for a while. It's really tough. I'm like, I already know what it is. And I know it's going to be a trigger warning for some folks. It's going to be an assault.
Mhm.
And it is. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man. How is there so many people at this high rate? Those are the things that get me down. Is the loss in like
Mm.
feeling like humanity is even good? Like, what's the point?
Mhm.
But then I get these bright and shiny stars that remind me that this is why I'm doing it. I get my
Mm.
students that are like so human and innocent and awesome and wonderful and like shiny, like
Mm.
warm entire room and campus. Well, like me, I'm not the best person. Like everyone you talk to, like I'm not the nice person. I'm a straight up asshole. And people love me and I'm kind and warm and I'm funny, but I got a lot of sarcasm, a lot of jokes, right? I push people pretty hard therapeutically. Like I'm a very interesting individual. But this, like,
Mhm.
just to sit with you and the kindness and warmth, like I can give it off and I do give it off and people heal around me. But there's certain people who are like, we need to protect this one.
Mm.
This is like the one. And so I've had multiple of those throughout my entire career. This year I've had multiple come in. Here's an example. We're doing the end of the semester stuff, right? So we're just meeting people once, doing an intake, and kind of referring you to like people for like the summer. Well, there's been a
Mhm.
handful. I'm like, I'm gonna meet you again next week. I'm gonna meet you again the following week, and we're only supposed to see people once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm.
But I'm like, there's something here. Can't
Mhm.
explain it, but there's like something here that we need to get you to the next step.
Mm.
Uh, so those are the humans that I look for. I look forward to. I look forward to. Some of my favorites are graduating this semester, which is like fantastic. One of them, we're gonna buy some. I'm gonna buy some sweets in town. We're gonna eat some cheesecake. And I said, "Girl, we're gonna cry our asses off. We're gonna." She's like, "I know." She already started crying.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Check out the full episode on our channel and anywhere you find podcasts. Also, remember to like and subscribe. Whoop whoop!